Okay, good evening. We are here this evening with candidate for mayor, Mr. Joseph Wells. How you doing this afternoon, Mr. Wells?
Hey, I'm doing real good. I can't complain at all.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to stop by the Adams Brothers podcast and talk to us for a little while and tell the people why you would like to be mayor of Pompano Beach. And first, we want to just go ahead and jump right on in, man. We will just go ahead and tell the Adams Brothers podcast and tell the people about you. Tell us about your education, where you grew up, and just tell us about you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for the Adams Brothers podcast for putting out information so that way voters are not ignorant when they go out to vote. So I want to say thank you guys for that. Again, my name is Joseph Wells. I am from Pompano Beach, born and raised in the great city of Pompano. Went to Crystal Lake Middle School. Went to Crystal Lake Middle School. I really didn't get kicked out of Crystal Lake, but my mom shipped me to Cottle Ranches in Hollywood. Went to Pivot Pines Middle up there, went to Miramar High. I did not get kicked out of Miramar High, but my mom brought me back down because I kept getting in trouble. And I went to, that's where I graduated Blanche Ely High School. I've been involved in politics for, this is how I first got started in politics. I was watching the issues that was going on in the city. And I'm like looking at some of the city commission meetings. And I said, I think I want to run for office one day. And my father-in-law used to live right by Pat Locken house. So I went to Pat Locken. He was in the backyard barbecuing. I went behind I went to him, I said, Pat, Mr. Pat Lockins, I would like to run for city commissioner one day. And he looked at me and said, y'all excuse my French. I know some listening folks are going to say it, but I got to say it exactly what he said. He said, how the hell are you going to run for something you're not involved in anything? I'm like, well, I guess I won't be running no time soon. So he allowed me to, he allowed me to go to the Flaming Pit. It was on Federal Highway at that time. He said, well, come on to the Flaming Pit. We meet. I believe that at that time it was me like once a Saturday, once a week or twice a week. On a Saturday, I was sitting there with other group of people who want to get involved in the city. And that's how I first got involved. So I started going to the meetings more regular. Started speaking up on different stuff within the community that I thought that we was lacking in within the community. So that's how I really got my first start, and Pat pulled me off and got me kind of started. So I sat on a lot of different boards. I sat on a lot of different boards I was appointed to within the city, and I sat on one board in the county. So I'm also a school teacher at Pompano Beach Middle School, and I'm also a pastor, senior pastor at Holy Mission of Jesus Christ. So some people ask, why you want to be a politician? And I tell anybody, not really a politician, but a mayor, somebody who's going to get involved in the community. Why you want to do that? I said, if anybody can pastor a church, they can run a city. So you're dealing with different mood swings. You're dealing with ups and downs. You're dealing with people, some people say, I like it like this. Some people say, I don't want this. So your job is how to bring everybody together and make peace with everybody. So that's just a little bit about me. I can keep going on talking about myself. I'm married to a beautiful lady. She's beautiful, y'all. Stacia Wells. I have 3 wonderful kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. So I'm just blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet you some years ago when I was working for the City of Pompano down at the E.Pat Larkin Center, and that's where I first met you at. And that's where I also I had already met former Commissioner Pat Larkins, and I had already talked to him numerous of times sitting in that center down there in Pompano. And he actually, I believe he graduated with my dad. Our dad graduated from Ely. They were classmates, and he and my father, they were good friends. They knew each other very well.
Real good friends.
Very good friend. Yeah. So he was pretty much like a mentor to you. He started mentoring you a little bit, back in the day. Kind of
Yes,
inspired you to run for mayor.
you the one from there. That's that. I preached a sermon when all the riot was going on and everything was going crazy, and I preached a sermon. My title was I'm mad as hell. So now what? Because it's not good enough to be mad, and it's not good enough to march, and it's not good enough to burn down your own city. Because when all the smoke clear and they put the fire out, guess what? We still got the same people that's sitting in the seat that's dictating to us what we should do.
Right.
So that's why I said, you know what? I got to do something. Don't just talk about it, do something. And I think that's one reason why I think when everybody was marching and everybody was protesting, somebody should have had a clipboard racing people up the road. Because you can talk all day long, but if you don't go vote, we'll still have the same people in office.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let me just go right on into my first question. And I talk about this down here in Deerfield. It's real big with my brother and myself. And we've talked to our commissioner. We've sent emails up to the city of Deerfield. And right now, currently, the CRA in Deerfield is over in District 1. Now, we all know that the CRA should be right over here in District 2 in Deerfield Beach, because this is where the poverty is. This is where blight, this is where the slum is, right over here in District 2. And this is where the CRA should have been put years ago. But right now, it's not over in District 1. District 2. It's in District 1. Right now in Pompano, where is the CRA in Pompano?
The CRA is in two
In
places.
what district?
CRA is in District 1, east side, and then also CRA is in District 4, where the majority of minorities live. But the issue that we have with our CRA, we have them in our area, but they give us crumbs and think we should be happy. Yeah. They're about to build close to $1 billion on Martin Luther King. They're talking about moving Pat Rocket Center down farther away. What they're planning on doing, if the people don't wake up, they will be pushed out. It's going to, and I tell people all the time, it's going to be a visible wall. Now it's an opportunity, and there's nothing wrong with development. Overdevelopment, where I have a problem with. When you don't have the people who's the stakeholders, their advice or their input, I think that's where you go wrong at. We are the stakeholder. I pay my taxes. So if I pay my taxes, I should have the right to put my input in. And that's the problem that we have with our CRA. I was talking with some people the other day, business people, and they was telling me, I try to do business with the CRA, but I never get an opportunity. But they make it seem like they doing stuff for us, but in reality, they're not.
But I want to understand you correctly. You said the CRA was in District 1 and District 4. And yes. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Now, if the CRA is in District 1 and 4, that money has to be used in those particular districts, District 1 and District 4. And I heard you say that they give you crumbs. So I'm trying to understand how are they giving you crumbs in District 2 when the CRAs are in 1 and 4?
Okay, so basically what happened, District 1 have their own CRA. Both CRA cannot tangle each other. You cannot use both funds. So District 4 can't use their funds for District 1.
Right.
Both funds are separate.
Right.
So now what happened is District 4 CRA is about to sunset. It's about to be over with.
Right.
District 1, the east side, have theirs for I don't know how many more years, and they got a couple more years to have with there. But District 1 have more money. District 4 have more money. Do that make sense? Because
Right.
we've been longer. We've been over 30 years with that CRA.
Right, right.
So with the CRA, I look at how we take care of our business, how are we making sure that locals are making money from the CRA? Because they live here, they have business here, they should be able to participate in here. They should not have to go somewhere else and work. And then they do the same job that the CRA is looking for.
Right, right. So if you're elected mayor, what would you do to bring the CRA to District 2? And to stop them from moving the Pat Lockett Center, which they spent about $5 to $6 million, if I'm correct. You spent $5 or $6 million about 10 years or so ago and built that building, and now you want to tear it down and move it further down the road. What would you do to stop that, and what would you do to bring the CRA over to District? Your district is 3, correct? 4. I'm sorry, 4.
We already have CRA in District 4.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
I'm thinking about Deerfield.
You thinking about Deerfield?
I'm thinking about Deerfield. Yes, you're right. Yeah, because we own them down here about that CRA, and we're not gonna stop. But okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't even tell you this. They also want to move the city hall from where its current location until to the new location, which is on Martin Luther King. So they want to do all this stuff. Again, it's going to be close to $1 billion. My problem is, do I see myself in this project? Do I see the people who work hard, pay their taxes for over 30 years, do I see them in this project? And to be honest with you, I don't. So as mayor, how can I clean it up? I'm glad you asked. I can clear up very simple. We have local participation right now in our books, but I want to add set-asides. Set-asides, I got this from Atlanta. I got to be honest, I got it from Atlanta. I've been talking to some commissioners in Atlanta. I've been doing my homework. Set-asides in Atlanta, if you have a business in Atlanta, 50% of the work must go to the people from Atlanta. No matter what, no matter who comes, it must go to the work for the business, local participation in Atlanta. That's what I want to bring here at City Hall, in the city of Pompano. So that way, if you have a plumbing job, we about to build on Martin Luther King. Guess who get the job? You. Guess who we gonna make sure you hire? People within that district, people from Pompano. They don't have to be people from in the district. As long as they're from Pompano, live in Pompano, guess what? You're gonna work. As the mayor, Amazon is thinking about, I think Amazon is coming to Pompano. They talking about bringing 130, 160 plus jobs, somewhere around there. If I was the mayor, I would have made sure I secured at least 50% of those jobs right off that. How would I be able to do that? With funds. I would have given them some type of tax break. I would have did something to make them say, listen, you got 50% of the jobs in the city of Pompano. That's how we keep up with our mortgage. That's how we make sure people are paying their rent, because now they got opportunity. It's not about, and listen, I think we need to vote for a president. But if you vote for a president and skip local participation, local election, guess what? You just make yourself more worse off.
Yes.
Because it's the local economic, it's the local politician, it's the local that make you or break you. And my desire is to make people in Pompano greater. Should I say greater, huh? Y'all will get that tomorrow. Make America great. Okay.
Okay.
And speaking to that, Joe, Broward County Mayor Dale Holness, when we were talking to him on our Adams Brothers podcast, he basically said the same thing about Deerfield here, that 50% of the business would have to go to minority or black people. You know, he said that is one of his requirements if Deerfield Beach gets a CRA. So I'm in line with exactly everything you're saying about Pompano.
Absolutely.
And that's perfect. I think that would be perfect. One thing that we messed up in Pompano is we didn't have that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we just got our local participation policy ordinance about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So just imagine if we would have had that 50% set aside back then. Oh man, you're talking about black millionaires walking around.
Yeah.
You know, and not only black, but Mexican, Spanish, white, everybody would have been walking around millionaires, very wealthy.
Okay, Wayne.
Okay, Joe. What's more important for Pompano Beach right now? Building new homes and commercial space, or rehabbing and expanding, or better utilizing existing homes and storefronts?
To be honest with you, I think right now we because of this pandemic and because of what's going on, people they're talking about building. But I think we have to make sure we take care of the people right now that's paying a mortgage, take care of people who's paying a rent. Because if we don't, our revenue will stop. Because that's how we get the money, by taxes, about property taxes. So I think we got to think about, let's take care of the ones that's right now that living in their house, having a hard time, and then talk about building more houses, building more apartments, townhomes. Listen, I always believe if somebody owns that property and it is already zoned for it, and the city don't have to give out any money, you know, do what you have to do. That's your property. But if it's something that the city trying to do in the city property, I think before we spend any more money in the ground as a city, I think we need to make sure we take care of our residents first. I believe residents must come first doing anything, even the developer, even as a mayor, even if a developer come to me right now and say, hey, I want to build this right now, and the residents say, no, we don't want this in our community right now. And the majority of residents say no, I think we have to go with the residents.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that answer. But pretty much, I was asking, what did you think is more important? Like getting the grants to rehab the existing houses, or tearing down some of the current structures and building new ones. That's pretty much what I was asking in that question.
Well, I think you can pretty much do both, because you get CDBG funds.
Right.
And the CDBG fund, you can pretty much do both at the same time. And I also think that the city need to put money to the side to also help.
Right. I have always said that too, about the cities helping, having some type of emergency fund, like for people with bad roofs. Like this time of year, it's raining a lot, and I would hope to see a lot of cities get some type of emergency fund that's different from the CDBG grants, and have something like for emergency use of people, like if their roof go bad, or something, something like less than maybe $10,000 or something, some emergency money for residents. I definitely would like to see that.
Or even give them a tarp, even give them a tarp.
Yeah, I mean, something. I mean, I'd like to see this do a little bit more. And I whenever residents ask for more, you get a certain segment of our society loves to talk about handouts, and and it's only making our city look better, is my opinion, if you have some type of emergency fund to help someone that's fixing a roof, so you don't have to see that tarp up on that roof for 7, 8, 9 months, because a lot of people giving them a tarp, but if they don't have the resources to fix the roof, then I mean, the tarp is just there, it's just unsightly, you know. So, you know, I just like to see that. And I have another question. If elected mayor, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process?
I think communication is very important. I think that's one reason why I decided to run for mayor, because I believe our city, our commissioner, our mayor is out of touch with the residents. You know, we used to have meetings at 7 o'clock. Then they switched it to, I believe, 6 o'clock, 6:30. Most of the residents are at work, who this stuff is going to affect. And then they changed it again. Now they have one at 1 o'clock, and then the others at 6:30. And what it does is it oppresses, it hold down my voice, because now I got a choice. Do I have to work at 1 o'clock, or do I call off to come to a meeting that my commissioners and mayor's not going to listen to me anyway? Mm-hmm. So one of the things I think that I would do as mayor is I would meet with the different districts on a regular basis to see their heartbeats. I would be on the ground. I would not be one of the mayors or commissioners that in a position and then you don't see them again until it's time to run again. I will make sure that the people will know what's going on. Before a developer, I don't know if it's in our bylaws, bylaw policy now, but I will make sure any developer that want to build, if you do not meet with that community, and come up here, because I'm going to ask to table it, and you go back and meet with the people who voted me in. Right. And I think that's so important. Another thing I think we have to do, not just only on Facebook, because a lot of people are not on Facebook. They put a lot of information on Facebook. But the same way when you run for office and you have these different PACs sending out stuff on candidates, guess what? Do the same thing. Hey, I need y'all to mail out these to all my residents, because I need to let them know this is what's going on. So there's a lot of stuff to get people involved, and you got to be creative, and you got to be a leader. That when somebody who don't like something, you got to stand up like a man and take it. You are. My job is as a mayor is I am a hired mayor. I work for the people, not for special interests, and not for developers. I work for the people.
Okay, and my next question is, how do you assess the performance of current city manager Greg Harrison?
In my debate class, they tell us to pause, think about the answer, and then answer. Okay. I think the problem with, not just only with Greg Harrison, but with the whole thing, I think we listen to the developers more than we listen to the residents. The city workers can't really talk to me because, again, they don't know if I'm going to win or lose. So they don't want to get out there and get stuff. So I refuse to call any names, but there's a lot of issue that's within our city. A lot of racism that's in our city. A lot of stuff that we can clean up. As the city manager, your job is to clean it up. And we're talking about people that not only that work for the city, but live in the city. So do I have to give him a grade? I give him a C. Okay. Close to a D, almost an F. Because I think he listened to developers. He listened to this RMA. He listened to RMA. You know, is he really running the city? I don't know. Some people tell me RMA is running the city. That's Kim Breesmeister and Chris Brown. I don't know.
How's his relationship with the Black community?
What's his relationship?
How is Greg Harrison's relationship with the Black community of Pompano Beach?
You want me to give him a grade?
Yes. Okay.
I don't.
I'll leave that right there.
Because if you're gonna be for Pompano, I think you have to be fair across the board. No matter if you're from District 1, because you have more money than I have, and you can fund more stuff, or if you're from District 4, only making $12,000 a year, but you still treat me the same way as you treat someone that have $1 million. And I don't think that's happening. One incident, what happened? A young lady came in, wanted to do a survey. Commissioner Billy Perkins brought in. It was $75,000 to do the survey. They took that lady to hell to do her job. Then I found out that Greg Harrison can give anybody who he wants $75,000 without going to the commissioners to vote on. Anybody. So how many people, I'm going to do a public request. I want to know how many people that you gave $75,000 to for the last 2 years that don't look like me.
Right.
You know, so I think it got to be a fair across the board. You got, plus as a city manager, your job is to come out on the ground to hear what's the needs are. Like you say, with the storm, roof, your job is to make sure that this city is going good. Because at the end of the day, you are running the city. You are the CEO of the city of Pompano.
Right. Y'all?
So how do you think the city has handled the pandemic with COVID-19? You think they've been on top of it, that they've they've been very informative to the residents? What do you think about their response to handling the COVID-19?
I would say this. I'm not going to say all negative, because I think it wouldn't be fair, because this pandemic caught all of us off guard.
Yes, it did. And
I think we would have never thought anything like this would ever happen to us. We would think about, China and all the other countries, not America. But when it hit us, I think caught all of us off guard. Do I think they was a little slower? I believe, because you got to think outside the box. And I believe, kind of like what Commissioner Bailey Perkins did. She made sure she called Feed of South Florida. She was calling different places. She got churches connected, and she started feeding people at the church. Right. Because it wasn't, I think she was getting too much TV time. Channel 7, Channel 10 was talking to her, what she was doing. People started getting upset within the city. They stopped her program. They stopped that. And then they took it to out on the east side by the mall, Pompano Mall. Then they moved it to the Owls Casino. Now it's back at the Pompano Mall. Instead of saying, let's jump in what she's doing and do it. I think when someone have a good idea, no matter if you like them or not, a good leader will jump in and be a part of that. Then you're talking about people about to lose their home. I think it was too slow for them. We have an emergency fund we could have used to say anybody who's behind their mortgage, behind their rent, we got you. We can use that money. It's an emergency. It's a pandemic. We could have used that money. And I think they could have used that money. They should not have had to wait until Florida, the federal government gave us money. We had money, we should have used it.
Right.
And that's my whole thing. Any type of pandemic, any type of hurricane, any type of emergency, we have to think about the resident first and work hard to make sure the resident is safe, secured, and protected.
Oh, absolutely. Because COVID-19 has or will impact every city in the United States. There's no doubt in my mind that Deerfield, Pompano, it could be Rochester, New York, or Sacramento, California. It's going to impact in some way negatively. And down the road here, I mean, there's going to be probably some layoffs and, hopefully not, and furloughs and along the line too. So, I mean, what do you think about the furloughs? If it comes down to it, will you be in favor of employees taking furlough days as opposed to being laid off?
I believe if you're going to, it's not depending what you want to do with the tree. If you just want to trim the tree, you start from the top, not from the bottom. Right. So that means the city managers, that means the top people, and also the city commissioners, right, and the mayor need to be hit before we hit the roof. Right. And that's maintenance, that's ground maintenance, that's people who's making sure our city is running very smooth. We should never lay off the bottom first, because we're not trying to kill the tree. We're just trying to make the tree look better.
And I also believe that if you're gonna ask the employees to take a cut, I mean, pay cut should start from the city manager, like you say, and the commissioners and on down. Everybody in the city should take a pay cut. If it comes down to that, everybody should do their part and bite the bullet and take a cut, if it comes down to that.
You know the crazy part, I think we're still in good because they just gave our city manager a raise. So they should not be laying nobody off.
Right.
They should not be laying, everybody should be working in the city of Pompano. All employees. But I want to say this too. I believe that, I don't know when did our city employees really got a good raise. A real good raise. Not a play raise, but a real good raise. And I believe it's time for a real good raise. Right. It's time to, I find out the reason how they hide their money, how the city hide their money, and it's for all the cities. They put earmarks. They earmark stuff that only makes sense. And then now you look at the budget. Oh, we don't have no money for your raise. Sorry. Get this 4% or 5%. But if we really go through the budget, I believe that there are some places that we can take money out, that we can really give our employees some raise. Or even why not? If we got a lot of foreclosed homes, let's let the city buy these foreclosed homes and give them to the employees. I'll let them buy from us cheaper. So now they have now they're homeowners. So at the end of the day, I think, again, you got to think outside the box. I believe you got to look at other places and see what they're doing that's unique. One of the problems that I really have with the city of Pompano, they trying to make us look like Delray and West Palm Beach. And that's where RMA is from, and that's where they do a lot of the work. So I see a lot of their stuff coming down this way. We are a unique city. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're the second oldest city in Broward County. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on that. So guess what? We have our own fingerprint. So we don't want to lose our identity of who we are, because we're Pompano. There's no other city like us. There can't be one better than us because we're Pompano.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, Deerfield. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
But we're Pompano.
Right.
And I think we have to make sure we take care of Pompano.
Right. And I have one more question for you, Joe. What is your greatest strength and your greatest and your weakness?
I believe my greatest strength is communication. I love to talk to people. I love people. Cornel West said something that I love when I first read the quote. Don't quote me on it because I might add a little word or take a little word away. It said, you can't love people until you serve the people. And you can't save, I'm sorry. Okay, stop, rewind, here we go. You can't love the people until you serve the people. You can't love the people until you give them something. Something like that. I don't messed up his quote. Kanye, I'm so sorry I don't mess up your quote. Here we go. In other words, I love people. I'm a people person. I can go talk to a Donald Trump supporter and see some good in him. I can go talk to a Joe Biden supporter and see some good in him. The mayor that we have right now in the city of Pompano, I can talk to him right now and see some good in him. I see good in everybody. But the thing is, I think that's one of my strengths, that I believe everybody have an opportunity to be great. Everybody. Now, what's some of my weakness? Woo! It's too many to talk about right here on this podcast, y'all. I believe one of my weaknesses is I love too hard. I want to please everybody. And sometimes that can be a hinder to you to try to please everybody. And I think my wife would say, budgeting. Listen, when I see a lot of numbers, and that's why whoever the city manager is, we're gonna be hand in hand, because I want to know the numbers. I just want to know the bottom line number. Are we okay? What do we need to change? Any other witness, y'all got to come to church and hear me preach. I preach about it.
Okay. Wayne?
All right, Joe. If elected mayor of Pompano Beach, Florida, what 3 steps would you take to put Pompano on a firmer financial footing? What 3 steps would you take to strengthen the finances of Pompano Beach if elected mayor?
I think the first step, my first 100 days, I will work on everybody. I will work through the whole city. Maintenance, I would do a day with maintenance. I would do a day with the city manager. I would do a day with the water department. I would understand everybody's job, what they do, zoning department, city clerk. My first 100 days, I'm going to take my time to go through everybody to understand. My second step would be I will sit down with the city manager to go over the budget. How can we strengthen our finance? How can we bring more money within our city? And I think one thing is we have to make sure our economic is strong. If our economic is strong in the city of Pompano, guess what? People are working in Pompano. People are paying their mortgage. People are paying their rent. We're getting tax dollars. And then I would talk with developers and people who want to build houses, want to build apartments. How can we work together to make Pompano stronger? How can we work together to build up our tax revenue? So that means, yes, do we have to bring business in like Amazon to come in? Yes. House Casino is about to build hotels. They trying to be Las Vegas and Pompano. And I think that's a good thing. But I also think, how can we secure at least 50% of those jobs that's coming in to the house? So my thing with the 3 steps, I think the last step is we have to make sure any business that's come in, I want to meet with them. I want to make sure that we can do something to make sure that our people in Pompano is working. Our people are learning different skills. Because if our people don't learn the skills, how can you force somebody to hire them? They got to know the skills.
Okay. Now, my final question is, if you receive a $1 million grant to use in the city of Pompano, any way you want it, what would you do and where would you put the money at, the $1 million at?
I think we have Pompano Beach, City of Pompano Beach. We have a lot of middle schools. We have two middle schools. We have I forgot how many elementary. We got over 7 to 6 elementary schools, and we have 2 high schools. When you really look at our schools, the first thing I would do, I would sit down with Runcie and talk to Runcie about, listen, our schools got to do better. The principal that you're picking, they got to do better. And most of all, there should be no leaks in our school. I will partner with Runcie, whoever the superintendent is at the time, whoever the superintendent may be, to talk with them to say, what can we do to help? We have $1 million, a grant. I want to give it to the schools because we got to build up our kids. If we don't, we're looking at another pandemic, just with the schools. So there's some schools right here in our district, right in the city of Pompano, that's still leaking. And with that $1 million, I would also ask some of the developers who want to work in our city to partner with some of our schools, to help out some of our schools. Again, we got some schools that's leaking. We have some schools that need computers. We have some of our schools just they're not making it. They need help. So maybe it's childcare. Maybe it's it can be so many different issues. So I would like to use that money for our schools. I know the city of Pompano is trying to open up a charter school. I do have a problem with that charter school because before you open up a charter school, I think you need to take care of our own schools within the city of Pompano. And I was on an interview the other day and somebody said, well, you, as the mayor, you don't have no say-so of the schools. Yes, I do. I'm the mayor of Pompano. Those schools are in Pompano. Guess what? People in Pompano don't have no say-so of that school, but guess what? They have a say-so. They move stuff. Whatever they want, they get. And I think that's the problem. We don't have a voice that's strong enough to say, a leader that say, listen, I like you, but if I have to talk out against you, I will do just that. If I got to call Channel 7, you know Channel 7, if the mayor called Channel 7, they coming. Yeah. And I think that's the power. We got to use our power the right way. Yeah. And so with that $1 million, I will work with the schools.
Okay. All right, Daryl.
Okay, Joe, you have the floor. Tell the people of Pompano Beach why they should elect you as the next mayor of Pompano Beach.
Okay, thank you again, the Adamsbrotherspodcast, for having me. Again, my name is Joseph Wells. I am running for the mayor at large for the great city of Pompano Beach. Why should you elect me? Listen, my other opponent been mayor about 2 years. He had an opportunity to prove to us that he was going to be a good mayor, a great leader, and also to serve the people of Pompano. If elected me, I promise you that you will always have my ear, and I will be your voice. I will promise you I will not be like the other politicians that show up only when it's time to be re-elected again. I will be in the community. I will be involved with the community. I will have the state of Pompano, not just only 1 year, where most people have to pay for it to hear what's going on new in the city. I will have it on a regular basis to let the resident know what's going on. I promise you, special interest will not be in my ear. You will be in my ear, the resident of this great city. I need your vote. I will be honored to have your vote. And I promise you this, I will not let you down as your next mayor of this great city of Pompano. If you vote me, jobs are coming. If you vote me, you're going to be able to stay in your house. If you vote me, we will not lose our fingerprint, who we are, as the second oldest city in Broward County. If you vote for me, I promise you, I will serve you and serve you only as your next mayor of this great city of Pompano. So vote Joseph Wells. And if anybody want to know anything more about my platform, you can go to my website, www.votewellsmayor.com. All right. I got a lot of stuff that we got planned. So I need your help. I need your help. Now, they're gonna talk dirt about me now. They're gonna talk about me. They're gonna talk about me. But don't believe everything you hear. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Don't believe everything you fake news.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There's a candidate for mayor, Joseph Wells. He's running for mayor of Pompano Beach. Hey, Joseph, man, we enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for coming by the Adams Brothers podcast. You're welcome to come back here all the time, man. You know, we talk to you on the podcast, off the podcast. So, you know, if we can help you when you win the election in Pompano, you know, you got our number. We can offer you some ideas and vice versa. You know, you can help us get that CRA over here in District 2 in Pompano. We'd love to talk to you, man. So good luck to you on November the 3rd.
You got the right person behind you to make sure that happens, that you get that CRA in y'all district. I think that'll be so wonderful for Deerfield, especially if they do that 50% set aside. If they do that 50% set aside, oh man, I might come move to Deerfield and open up a business or something.
Well, they're not too happy about it right now, but we're not interested in them being happy right now. We want the CRA in District 2 down here in Deerfield, and we're going to get it. Joe, thank you again for stopping by the Adams Brothers podcast. Good luck to you, and tell everybody when to go out and vote for you.
November the 3rd. Listen, I know that our president, Donald Trump, I was going to say another name, but I know our president, Donald Trump, may tell you that that's all fake news. Listen, I need you to go out and vote. All right? Don't just only vote for the president. Vote for the local, because we got some great stuff going on. The supervisor election office. You got the prosecutor. We have the city clerk. What I'm missing? Listen, the sheriff. Listen, we have, and then you got the mayor of the great city of Pompano. Listen, let's make history. That would be the first African American mayor at large voted in. All the other mayors, like they was appointed by the commissioner. That would be the first. Let's make history. Let's do this. Let's make history.
Joseph Wells, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. Good luck to you, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
You too.